Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is RJ. So today we are looking at Bitcoin. We recently had the Bitcoin halving, so I thought what would be interesting is look right back through history to the first halving in 2012 right up to the present to see exactly what has happened, what the trends are. Also as well, we're going to be discussing the ups and the possible downsides of everything that has happened, and also what the potential future is as well. So keep watching. Okay, and welcome to another video. And remember, if this is your first time visiting my channel and you want to learn more about how to earn cryptocurrency for free, about cloud mining sites, crypto investments, and lots of other crypto related stuff, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to tag that notification bell so you're alerted to all my latest content as it comes online. Okay, so as I said in the introduction, today is basically just going to be a bit of a discussion about Bitcoin, where it's come from and where it's going. Now, obviously, it would be absolutely brilliant to get your feedback on and any thoughts on this subject. And if that's something you want to do, just post them below the video, and obviously then I can answer any questions, and obviously it could form a nice community discussion as well. So the recent halving we had was on April the 20th. And what I wanted to do was not just look at the Bitcoin halving themselves, but what happened a month later. I know it's a little bit past that. It's about a month and a half later for this year's halving, but I just wanted to see through over the time from when the halving started, which was 2012, 1 month after, like basically what happens in that month. That's what I was interested in, and so that's what we're going to look at. And like I say, as we go through, I'm going to be talking about various things and sort of my views on how things have changed, what has happened in that time, and where, like I say, where we could be going in the future. I will be throwing in as well some estimated price predictions for literally decades ahead. So that might be something that you are interested in as well. Okay, so let's get on with it. Okay, so here we are. Now, I'm sure many of you are all thinking and looking, as we all know, where Bitcoin is right now, thinking, man, I wish I'd got into this earlier. So in 2012, at the beginning of the chart, that is basically the day of the halving. So that would have been in 2012, the 28th of November, 2012. And at that point, Bitcoin was worth $12.35. Now, from that point, you can see there is a sharp rise, and then basically from that sharp rise, it actually is relatively stable. It's, there's small fluctuations, and then when you get to the end of that month, it's actually gone up to 1342, which you think, wow, it's not a big jump. It's like £1 basically. But you also have to realize that Bitcoin, essentially the inception of Bitcoin was 2009. By this point, it was not many people knew about it. There certainly wasn't much confidence in it. I'm not sure at this point if it had been connected to Silk Road. It probably had. Therefore, obviously, and we still have the problem now, is the stigma of Bitcoin and crypto being connected with the dark web, being connected with criminal goings on and stuff like that. So that is one of the big factors I feel that has always held Bitcoin back. It's like if you ever watch a movie or a TV series, you never see crypto ever being put in a positive light, or very, very rarely if you do. It's always two guys that are partaking in some kind of criminal act and payment is being given in crypto, or there's a mention of something and he's like, yeah, put it in my crypto wallet or send it me in crypto, all this stuff. Excuse me. But it's very, very rarely in fact, very, very rarely ever put in the media in a positive way. And there is so much many positive things that are going on around the world, but they never get reported on. It's only ever the negatives when it comes to crypto. Okay, so the next halving that took place was 2016. So that's 4 years, obviously, from this one. So at the beginning of this chart, again, that is the day of the halving, which was July 9th, 2016. In 4 years, it's gone from $13 up to $663 in 4 years. I actually started mining crypto about 2014 to 2015, and it was at $350 when I started mining, like actual physical mining, not the online programs that we do now, but actually mining those massively annoying, very loud mining machines in your house that literally sound like a jet engine. I was using those in 2014, 2015. I did actually continue until about 2018, but obviously I'm just mentioning the years I am now because we're in 2016 with this halving, and like I say, it starts off at 663 and 57 cents. So obviously we are working in dollars, by the way. And then August 9th, so 1 month later, it had actually dropped. You can see there's a massive tail off, a massive drop, which I'm guessing is probably a panic sell. I cannot exactly remember what if there was a specific point or reason at that point as to why there was a sudden drop. And then it did climb back up to the final total that you can see is $590. But still, from 2012 to the end of this graph, it had gone up considerably. I mean, ridiculously, compared to, $13 to nearly $600 at 1 month after the halving in 2016. That is a massive, massive jump. And still then, there was really, there really wasn't any, like, the confidence we have in it now or the knowledge of it that we have now. But by this time, it was starting to become more and more of a household thing. People knew about it. People were starting to get interested in it. People started obviously seeing the potential financially in it. So that is why in that 4 years, we ended up at where we are there. So the next halving was 2020. So May the 11th, which is where this graph will start. So this graph will start May the 11th, 2020. And at that point, Bitcoin was worth, so in 4 years again, gone from $600 or $590 up to $8,742, I think that is. I can't actually read my writing on that. No, it's 743. So 8,743 and 49 cents. So, I mean, that is, $590 to nearly $9,000 in 4 years. Obviously, in that time, so between 2016 and 2020 is when Bitcoin hit its all-time high at that point, which was $20,000. December 2017, Bitcoin hit $20,000. And then 2018 comes round. I think we got to about mid 2018 and it absolutely bottomed. It dropped from like 20 odd thousand and went down to, I believe it actually went down to below $3,000. And it was, man, that was what we call a crypto winter. It did not recover for a very, very long time. Yeah, and basically, I think what happened there is obviously, like I said, between 2012 and 2016, more people were knowing about it. In 2017, it hit the 20,000, and at that point, it was all over the news. It was everywhere. It started to get some real mainstream exposure, and I think at this point is when you started to get a lot of speculative investors, a lot of people that were probably being told by their friend down the pub, man, you need to get in on this. Get your savings, throw it into Bitcoin. You will not regret it. Blah, 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 blah. So all these people that didn't have a huge knowledge of Bitcoin, but as far as they knew, it was going to be a good investment and give them a good return. They put a lot of money in it and then panicked. Because the thing is, it's like a lot of things. It's like, you know, a coin or anything will go up, but the problem is one, you never want to lose too much. So, and also the thing is you get this mentality, if it's going up and up and up, it actually creates panic, because you start thinking this is gonna crash at any point. This could crash at any point. And you've invested your savings into this. So I think it got to a point, everybody panicked, or those sort of, you know, everyday people that had put their savings into it started to panic, started to sell, and then it was just an avalanche. And then everybody sold, and then it absolutely tanked, crashed to the floor, or very, very low. Like I say, it was definitely less than 3,000. I think it was below 3,000. And then, like I say, for a long time, there was just nothing. Not a lot really happened. But by the end of 2020, we'd actually got back to nearly halfway. So from 2018, when it absolutely tanked, to a month after the halving in 2020, we were nearly back to the halfway high of 2017, which was $20,000. So from this point, I think at that point, especially when the people started to see it recovering, also as well, I believe between 2016 and 2020 is when it really started getting traded. So it was basically at one point it was only to be allowed to be traded on certain platforms or in certain markets. Then they opened it up to other markets, like futures and stuff like that. And then that's when it really, really started getting traded. Now, at this point, I have to say I wasn't very happy, because even though we'd had the absolute drop in 2018, it was still, you know, when it started coming back, it was still quite relatively stable, can I say. And then when obviously all the trading happened, that just made it so much more volatile, because because obviously traders are buying it, then they're selling it, and then they're trading, they're sort of they're betting against it as it's going down. Then when it reaches that bottom, they're buying it again to then wait for it to go back up to then sell it. So it creates a constant volatility to the coin, which is unnatural. It's not a natural occurring volatility. It's a man-made volatility through trading. But obviously, if you look at if you look at the graph we're looking at now, you can see those ups and downs and peaks and troughs, and there's that really big high in the middle, which at that point, at that height, I think it was over 10,000. Then it drops down and then climbs again. A lot of that is created from trading. It's not lack of confidence in the coin. It's not big sell-offs from companies or institutions or people. It's just trading, but obviously it can give a negative view in some respects of how the coin actually is seen. And that's what I didn't like, is that just to the point where I felt Bitcoin was really starting to gain momentum, they then allowed trading, and then like I say, it then creates this false view of the coin, which I think actually hurt Bitcoin. But since then, if we look at now, we're coming up to date. So this is going to be this year's halving. That happened April 20th this year. And we're going to look at 1 month, which will take us up to May the 20th. So on April the 20th, at the beginning of the graph, that's the day of the halving, like I said with the others, that was the coin was at $63,000, 773. Now, by the end, 1 month later, it is now, as you can see there, 68,255. Now, we did, obviously, you can see there was a bit of a few days after the halving. What's that, about a week after? There was a bit of a drop. And then or maybe that's 2 weeks after, maybe a week, week and a half, 2 weeks. But then from that point, it's just sort of gained, and then it's and then it's plateaued a bit, and then it's gained, and then it's carried on along a bit of a more of a stable trajectory. Now, the way the coin is going, and if you look at obviously all the past halvings and where it's come from to where it is, it's essentially always increased in price. So what we could be looking at next year is possibly a Bitcoin that is worth over $100,000. Just one coin. One coin could be worth over $100,000. I am going to show you what it could be looking at in 5 years, 10 years, and further. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the downsides of this. Now, obviously, the positive side is it's great for crypto. It's great for us that have Bitcoin already in wallets, and we are using the platforms that we do to earn Bitcoin. Now, obviously, just because this has happened to Bitcoin, and in the past, usually if Bitcoin goes up, other crypto follow. I don't know if I want to go out on a limb on this, but I really, really don't think that any other coin will follow Bitcoin in the sense of price. Now, obviously, Ethereum is what, $4,000 now or something like that. But even though Bitcoin has its problems, such as scalability, which essentially means how long the transactions can take. So obviously, if we're looking at the introduction into the mainstream, obviously one of the other factors that has really pushed up Bitcoin is because it is now much more available, or you can spend it more readily online. There is certain sites, or quite a lot of sites, that actually accept Bitcoin. I think Amazon accept Bitcoin, Microsoft accept Bitcoin. Obviously, you have a lot of online crypto gaming sites that accept Bitcoin. All this creates utility for the coin, and all of that is positive. That in a sense will keep pushing the coin forward. It will create more confidence about the coin. So all that is great. Like I say, for those of you that do mine other crypto and not Bitcoin, I'm not sure what's going to happen with those coins. I do feel that Bitcoin will always be the coin, but like I say, other coins can emerge. It really depends on the technology behind them. But anyway, what I want to talk about is the downsides. So one of the downsides I feel is, like a lot of other programs that we use, that if you've got Bitcoin now, then then you're golden. Hang on to it, but the whole thing with Bitcoin is it could be one of those that, the early people, the early bird catches the worm, and then the people that were skeptical and hung on and hung on and hung on and didn't want to put it in, they could well have missed out. Because I think we're going to start looking at the point where, even as an investor, as an investor, I think we could be looking at the point where Bitcoin is starting to get to the point where it's out of reach for the everyday investor. Because even a fraction of a Bitcoin, as that price rises, even a fraction of a Bitcoin, it all becomes more and more expensive. So one, you're getting less for your money as an investor. But two, because you're buying less for your money, it then starts becoming, it's one of those things. Is like, well, yeah, is it worth it? Is it worth? I've got, if I put $1,000 into Bitcoin now, you're not really getting a whole lot if you'd done it 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or even 2 years ago. You would have got quite a lot more for $1,000 than you would get now. So this then starts making people second guess even more. So people start thinking, it's just not worth it, because what am I going to get in return for that $1,000? So, like I say, one of the downsides is that I believe it is getting to the point where the average person on the street is very close to the point where they have missed out. And it's only going to be people that are better off financially that can still invest in Bitcoin, because they can invest enough that come the future, that is then still worthwhile. It is still going to be worthwhile. But the way we do it, we get our crypto for free. And obviously all the programs that I bring to you on my channel, usually Bitcoin is in there somewhere. You can mine or collect numerous different coins, but most of the programs I bring you, Bitcoin is there. But obviously the other thing is now, because Bitcoin has become so popular, there is literally warehouses and warehouses full of mining machines. The home user, the home miner, is pretty much at the point of being forced out. Because of how high the difficulty is getting. So unless you own literally a warehouse of Bitcoins, the cost of electricity, the cost of running a machine, I think your return on that is diminishing. I stopped mining from my home, I think it was like 2018, end of 2018, I think it was, I stopped mining. And basically I was looking at what I was earning, and I was looking at what I'm paying in electricity, and it was just, for me, it just isn't worth it. But obviously, had I rolled the dice and carried on, I would probably be in a really, really great position now. But unfortunately, I didn't. I looked at it and I didn't feel it was financially wise to keep going down that road. That is why I actually switched from mining at home to using online programs, because obviously the great thing with online programs is that you go in, you do your work or complete your task, and then you can just turn your computer off. But in the background, or on someone else's server, that is someone else is paying the footing the bill for electric, you're still earning coins. So for me, that made total sense. Now, that is the downside. Like I say, the average person, pretty much I feel when it comes to investing, it is possibly at the point of those people have missed out. But that in itself has a positive side. So if the average user, the average person that doesn't really know anything about crypto is just taking advice from Joe down the pub, if these people are no longer in the loop, what that means is the people that are holding Bitcoin and are investing in Bitcoin are people that actually understand Bitcoin. They have the finances to buy it, to keep it, and all of those things will just keep pushing Bitcoin forward. Because apart from trading, which obviously we see there are ups and downs, but apart from trading, if we've only got people that are knowledgeable of the coin, what it does, how it works, and how volatile it can be, and they have the finance behind them that they can weather any kind of downturns in the price of Bitcoin, that means that the ups and downs are going to get less. So rather than up and then a massive down because Joe and all his friends have freaked out and just sold everything, and then it's absolutely bottomed out the price of Bitcoin, what you're going to get is just essentially the trading ripples, and then you might get the odd sell-off here and there, but you will also might get the odd large investment. At one point, Bitcoin was seen as better than gold. It was seen for a very short period of time the backup to other finances. And I think we could get there again because of the people that are most likely now holding Bitcoin and investing into Bitcoin. So what that could mean for the future is that the price of Bitcoin could actually increase a lot faster because there's less of these massive bottom out or sell-offs, because those, like I say, those speculative investors, those friends of Joe down the pub, are no longer in the running. They have been pushed out, or if not now, they will do probably in the very near future, and therefore, like I say, the only people that are going to be holding Bitcoin and investing in it are people that are actually knowledgeable of crypto and Bitcoin itself. And that will make a massively positive impact on the coin. Now, I did say I'd bring you some price predictions for where this coin could possibly go in the future. So let's have a look at those. So right there, 2025, first column, 121,000. It's saying it could possibly max out at 145,000 one coin. That's just one coin could max out at that point. But if we look further down, we go to 2030 maximum 907,000. So that could be the first peak at possibly one Bitcoin being worth $1 million or thereabout. But I'm actually saying what I was just talking about just a second ago with those speculative investors being forced out, and then it's only people that are really going to understand and want to see Bitcoin do well, want to push Bitcoin forward because they understand how Bitcoin works and how crypto works. It is possible with that kind of momentum behind it, you could see $1 million coin before 2030, I feel. I don't know when. Obviously, we're only, 6 years away from that point, but we could see it just before that. I think we could possibly see $1 million Bitcoin before 2030 because of the people that are going to be behind it pretty much from now going forward. And then 2050, 4 million. I mean, in the maximum column, you're looking at nearly 5 million per Bitcoin. Now, the only thing is, when you get to that 2050, with the, what is inflation going to be? What is cost of living going to be in 2050 when we're constantly seeing the rise of that now? Also, as well, we're constantly seeing more and more millionaires popping up. I mean, X amount of years ago, being a millionaire was like the pinnacle almost. And back then, when you looked at Forbes rich list, you might have had, when it said like richest people in the world, you might have had top like 3 or 4 people that were billionaires, people like Bill Gates, Sultan of Brunei, and stuff like that. But now fast forward to 2024, billionaires are almost as common as millionaires were 10 years ago. There's so many billionaires around the world. It's absolutely crazy. And I think in certain currencies, we actually have, like certain currencies. I mean, I'm not talking about lira or anything like that. Obviously, that's euros now. But in certain currencies, we do have a couple, I believe, of trillionaires, depending on what currency you're using. But because of that, basically, it's just making money worth less because there's so much about. So you take $1, what you can buy now for $1 and what you could buy 10 years ago for $1. It's going to get to the point where $100 is seen like $1 is now. I think it could get to that point because, like I say, there's so much money swirling around now. It's actually devaluing money. And then obviously you've got the rate of inflation, you've got cost of living going up. So by the time we get to 2050, and if Bitcoin hits that, in those times you kind of think, well, it's probably not even that much. It's like at 2050 and it's saying that Bitcoin's worth 5 million. It might be almost the same as 2030 and it being $1 million. Because of the financial changes and the economic changes over that period, that 20 years. But anyway, I thought that was really interesting. So I hope you found that interesting as well. And like I said, if you have any posts, just drop them below the video. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And if you can, smash that like button, please. It really does support my channel, which then helps me make more content to help you. So take care, have a great rest of your week, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.